So you want to be a board director. It is a fantastic way to significantly contribute to an organisation, at the same time building your own business knowledge, skills and expertise, as well as profile and networks. And if you're lucky, you might even be paid for it, because some people make a career of being a board director. Well, my name is Todd Hutchison. I'm an internationally and nationally qualified company director and sit as the Global Chairman of People Reach, the Chairman of the Australasian College of Leadership and Coaching, and a non-executive director on the Institute of Mind Sciences. But before we look into how to make yourself marketable to get onto boards or get yourself onto better boards or paying boards, let's just talk about a couple of the terminologies that is very important. Firstly, the term board or board of management is a term used for the governing entity, primarily for a private or public company. The governing entity on a not-for-profit, which is guided by state legislation, is often referred to as a committee, and therefore you're a committee member. And lastly, a local council or government or statutory entity might refer to their entities as councils. So independent on what they're called, just note that we're referring to boards, and therefore being on the board, we'll refer to you as a board director. Of course, it could be company director or councillor or committee member. But whatever the entity is, as long as it's the governing entity that oversees the vision and strategy of the organisation and sets the governance for the organisation. Hence, as a board director, you have some personal liabilities, obligations and a serious role in going into becoming a board director. Now the other term that often people get confused is this term executive or non-executive. See, executive means that you don't only sit on the board, but you also have a role in the organisation. For example, the Chief Executive Officer suggests that the chief, they're the most senior of the people that work in the organisation. And on a public board, you might find, for example, the Chief Executive Officer and the Chief Financial Officer or CFO both sit on the board, so therefore they would be executive directors. The non-executive directors clearly are those ones that sit on the board but they don't have any other role in the organisation. Now, trying to get clear on how to make yourself marketable or getting onto a board or a bigger or more well-known or paid board, here are some tips. Firstly, if you're serious about this, you should show the world you're serious and join the professional association that supports company directors in your country. Now in Australia, we call that the Australian Institute of Company Directors, or AICD. Now when you're a member of those things, not only do you have opportunities to meet people and go to educational events and other professional development opportunities, but you're really hanging around with those people that are like-minded, those people that could potentially be the ones that invite you onto a board because they know, like and trust you, but also that they are the people that can be your mentors, your coaches, your peers, your people that you go to for personal counsel or advice. Apart from membership, the second thing I'd suggest is actually look at becoming a qualified company director. Now in Australia, again, we have a diploma of company directorship by the AICD. Now interestingly, it's not a nationally accredited diploma, but it is certainly the industry standard. So if you have a diploma of company directorship, that puts you in great standing because it also teaches you the roles, responsibilities, obligations of being a board director. Now clearly, if you've got certain qualifications such as for an accountant having a CPA or CA, maybe an engineer, maybe a lawyer, qualifications sometimes tick people's boxes because they show that you have some level of expertise or credibility. So some people are invited onto a board because they actually come from a certain profession. In addition to that, people are attracted to experience. So therefore, if you're not on a board at present, you need to get that experience, and that could come from you volunteering to a professional association or a not-for-profit where you're not going to get paid, but you're certainly going to be sitting and building that experience. So the more experience you get, and certainly from different sectors, etc., the more experience you have, the more people will actually then see you as adding value as a board director. Now in addition to that, your personal profile is actually quite important because your personal profile often attracts people to the organisation. Not-for-profits and charity organisations, for example, specifically pick people that have a network, that have a profile that hopefully will attract those other people to then donate or get involved in the organisation somehow. If you have CEO experience, that certainly helps, and if not CEO or Chief Executive Officer experience by running your own businesses or someone else's business, the next thing that kind of ties to that is having human resource management experience. So the more management or leadership roles you can take up, the better. And if you're not even working as a manager or a director in an organisation, just note that you can get some of those experiences by joining professional associations or project managing events where you get a project team. There's always ways to build experience. Now, in addition to that, it does come down to certain skills and expertise that you may have that the board or organisation needs. A lot of boards these days are what they call skills-based, which means that instead of having people on the board because they're nominee directors or put together because they're effectively representing the knowledge and interests of other entities, noting that they're still operating as independent individuals, they often may need a skills-based audit where they'll be looking for information technology experience or engineering experience or certain marketing experience, or could even be business development experience. So you could be attracting roles based on you having certain skills and knowledge that is wanted by the organisation. But here's the key thing. If you really want to be a board director and you're not doing it at the present moment and you're starting to do these things, it is about building your profile and letting people know you're interested and letting people know your skills, your knowledge, your expertise and qualifications. Don't expect them coming headhunting you, because usually the headhunted company directors are those that have already got a profile, that are already on significant boards and have already been seen by the business community as adding value.